Good evening. Welcome to this month's Town Administrators Report. I'm David Watts Jr., and with me is our Town Administrator, Steve Maio. Welcome, Steve.
Thank you, David. How are you?
Doing well. So far, we've made it through this winter.
We've made it through. It's going to be March 1st tomorrow.
Yeah.
Today's going to be 50 degrees. They're talking about a nor'easter for this weekend, but I think it'll be all rain. I told our DPW director we're not spending any more money on snow and ice. I don't want to hear about snow and ice.
And yet they're predicting snow and ice for Saturday.
Snow and ice for Saturday, and we still have, 6 weeks to go on a normal season. So let's
real
hope
quick
we make it
question,
through.
because we're not going to start budgets until the
Good.
next show, but
Good.
How are we doing on snow removal budget this year?
This is a year that although there hasn't been a lot of huge snow, there's been a lot of ice events. Mm-hmm. And we've done a lot of salting and sanding, and that does cost money, and that does cost product, and does take time. I think we cleaned the square once this year, and that we did have a couple of big days. So I think that we're up to our snow and ice allotment for the year. Mm-hmm. An average year, the DPW director, I hope he doesn't watch this, always tells me it's going to be $1.1 million, $1.2 million, and I think we fund $750,000 for it and pray. So I think we're in that $700,000 range right now. I know we are. I shouldn't say think. So I told him I don't want to hear about it anymore. Let it melt. I wish we could.
Wait until spring.
Those are the ones that are so frustrating because you have to do it. We can't say, hey, it's going to be sunny in 2 or 3 days and it'll all be gone. There still is commerce that has to happen. There's emergencies that may happen. The safety of people just walking around normally. So you can't let it go. But it does. I have some friends of mine who are down in the Cape, and they tell me that they get calls from the residents, the year-round residents. They say, "Don't spend the money on the plowing. We'll stay home. Who knows something's going to happen." So it is. But you know what? What can you do? Living in New England.
Well, and we're also at this point only a couple of days away from daylight savings time again.
Is that early? Oh, wow.
March 4th.
March 4th, so it'll be spring forward. It'll be dark again in the morning or...
and lighter in the afternoon.
Okay.
For a while.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Anyway, for this month, we're going to talk about the downtown again, but from a slightly different point of view. It was brought to my attention a couple of weeks ago by my daughter Allison, who works for the Savings Bank, just how many businesses in Wakefield and Greenwood are women-owned.
Yeah.
And tomorrow we start, International Women's Month.
Right.
March 8th is International Women's Day, and the Human Rights Commission in Wakefield is doing a program on March 6th.
Yeah, I'm going to be there. Looking forward to it.
There you go. And we will talk about that, too.
Yeah.
But the number of businesses in town that are exclusively women-owned, not husband and wife.
Right.
So far, I've identified 27.
That really is fabulous, and I know when we're not going to talk about them, but some of the husband and wives businesses, the wives run them. I'm telling you right now. But I think that I think this is great. I think this is wonderful.
It is, and the other thing is how diverse it is.
Yes.
It isn't always necessarily stereotypical.
No, not at all.
And so with that in mind, and with the International Women's Day program coming up, it kind of gave me an idea to use what I do as a photographer. I've been shooting a series of environmental portraits of some of these business owners, at least the ones who've come back and said, hey, we'd like to do this, and to try and get the word out. Bob Burgess, the editor at the Wakefield Daily Item, has been kind enough to publish the series, and I think we've had 3.
I've seen them the last few nights, so that's great. They're great testament to you and your skills, and to the entrepreneurs that we have out there. Fabulous.
Well, and that's the best part, because some I've known for many, many years. Some I had never met before. And we have the ones that have been shot so far. We have one coming up right now, and actually this is one of the older businesses.
Yes.
in town. If we could have that. There we go.
Holiday travel.
Holiday travel.
Suzanne Bowering. Absolutely.
And Holiday Travel has been in its location now since 1972. So 46 years. Suzanne's been there since the early 80s. And it's, if I remember right, the only full-service travel agency left in Wakefield.
I think you are right. I think it is. And also, Suzanne is very active in the Chamber of Commerce.
Yep.
On the board of directors, president. I mean, very active, and a wonderful business, and a business that, you know, she's had to adapt. I'm assuming. I'm sure she has, with the internet and people booking on Expedia and all this
Right.
stuff. And I got to tell you that my family took a great trip to Ireland a few years ago. I'd say probably 3 or 4 years ago now. And Suzanne put the whole thing together. And what a absolutely fabulous experience, from getting to the airport to getting home. Soup to nuts, and set us up with a absolutely magical touring group. We had never done that before, but thought we would do that. She had researched it. She knew what was going on, and that's what you're. I would say you're not even paying for it. You know,
Right.
it's all. You know, you're getting her expertise, and I know that she's taken other groups, and I always hear about groups that she's taken here and there. So what a fabulous business, a great service business, and really a mainstay in that downtown area. So absolutely fabulous.
And
run
also
business.
the longevity,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And there are a couple of examples of longevity that we'll talk about.
And you know, she also gives back to the community. She serves on committees trying to make it better. She's serving on actually a very dry subject, but something we need to look at, the sign bylaw committee right now. She's serving on that, and is really giving a lot of insight from a business owner's perspective. You know, I can say what I think.
Right.
You know, who am I? I sit in the ivory tower, right? What do I know? And you know, what does the building inspector think? What do other people think? But she's on there. She's on the ground. You know, what does that mean for a business, and how does that help other businesses?
Right.
So a great, absolutely fabulous.
She's also
Contributor.
very heavily involved in Rotary
Yes.
here in Wakefield also.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
and then we have another one.
Oh, the bread shop.
This one's one of my favorites, I have to tell you.
Yeah.
Lauren and Meg,
Yeah.
Lauren Donati and Meg Shimmick,
Yeah.
just in the year and a half they've been there, it is always such a great experience with the smell of the bread and the yeast and everything else when you walk in there, and just the quality of the product itself. The bread shop is just fantastic.
And these two young people are absolutely fabulous. And think about the fact that, you know, we as a community, you know, can support what some people might think is a specialty item that you would only see in a Brookline or a Wellesley. I mean, this place has fabulous product, does unbelievable. They participate in the farmers market.
Yes.
And they
usually sell out when they're
and they
at the
sell out.
farmers
They
market.
sell out every week. They also, very interestingly enough, also took advantage of having a couple of chairs for sidewalk dining.
Yep.
And they actually, we kind of rethought how we did that whole process as a town with them, and they really wanted to get it going. And you know what? Things do take time. You need to get it approved. You need to, you know, bring certain things in. So my thought was, why don't we just do this on a trial basis with them? And the board, selectmen, soon to be town council, I think, will be great. And they said, you know, geez, why don't we do that? So we gave them a license. Let's see how that worked out. And it worked out great. People enjoyed it. People had a cup of coffee and their products. They have great quiches and scones and what have you.
Yep.
And it worked out really well. So they've burst on the scene, and they've been a great addition to the town.
The cinnamon rolls in the morning, if you don't get in there early enough, they're gone.
Yeah, I know. I can't do the cinnamon
Those
rolls.
are almost
You
a
would think I
meal
did.
unto themselves.
Yeah. And really, two lovely people work very hard. You know, she's also come to I forget what committee. I'm on so many committees. I forget what committee she came to, but she even bought, like, you know, some snacks for us at the committee. It was like fabulous. You know, does this happen all the time? I said, no, this doesn't happen all the time. This is, you know, so they're really great. So we enjoyed them.
Our next one is actually one of the newest businesses in town. This is down in Greenwood. This is the Sharper Image
Okay.
Barbershop.
Yeah.
Charlene Harrington, who's a master barber,
Wow.
she moved her business from Arlington
Oh, great.
to Greenwood. She had an opportunity to buy this business, and so she did. And she just opened up last fall, and she's starting to really attract some attention in the Greenwood area.
That's
you know,
great.
because it's within walking distance
Yeah.
of a lot of folks.
A lot of folks, train line right there.
Yeah.
You know, Greenwood is really picking up, and what another great addition there with a Mexican restaurant coming in.
Yep.
Fang's there, you have some really, Greenwood's actually doing pretty well, and it's nice to see that. So another great addition and another great woman-owned business, which is fabulous.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I was in there yesterday for a trim, and one gentleman ahead of me had driven in from Charlestown
Oh, okay.
for a haircut.
Good.
So
That's great.
definitely a place to check out.
I love when we take businesses from these other communities.
And she's so happy to be in Greenwood. So
Great,
she's
great.
really thrilled with it.
I have not been there. I'll have to go and say hello.
The next one's also an interesting story. This one is Animal Attractions downtown in the
Yeah.
Richardson Building.
And they've been there for a while.
They've been there since 2010.
Yeah.
But here's the kicker. They were for a number of years in Stoneham Center.
Ah,
And when they had the opportunity to move, Wakefield was their choice.
wow, good.
And Elaine and Lori just do a marvelous job with the dogs.
Yeah.
And just it's a great place to go.
And we do see I see a lot of people when I walk around in the downtown dropping off their dogs there. So that's great.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah,
Another
no.
service, bringing people here, it's, they say that some people say downtowns are dying, right?
Right.
Retail is dying, but there are specialty places, okay, and we're seeing a trend here, which is great.
And we're seeing them come to Wakefield, which
Right,
is the best part
right.
of all. Lori is actually a Wakefield native.
Great.
And so is happy to have the business here in Wakefield. The next one is actually a returnee,
Yes, one of my favorites.
Sweet Bay Shop.
Sweet Bay, yes.
Beth Hyland and her daughter Liz.
Now, our older people in town might know her as Schellenberger.
I know her as Schellenberger.
So
Yeah, we were in
Exactly.
church choir together
Yeah.
as kids. But Beth had the Sweet Bay Shop in Wakefield for a while. Moved
Yeah.
out of town.
moved to Concord.
Moved the shop out of town.
Yeah.
And now has returned. And if you're looking for gifts or for flower arrangements, there's a place to go.
And I think, again, a specialty destination, people will come to go to her shop.
Right.
Her and her daughter Liz that run it together. And I know that my wife loves it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that when she says she's going there, it's going to cost us a pretty penny, which is fine, which is great. But
it's keeping the money in
It's
town.
keeping the money in town. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, my wife says she's helping the economy. Steve, I'm helping the economy. I said, okay. But really, what an eye they have there for, putting this together. And, you go in there and you say, geez, look at that. Even got my wife something there for Valentine's Day.
Right.
Just and it was a little something, but it was so perfectly appointed and perfectly done. So I got to say, what an addition. They have a great storefront. I love what they do with the outside.
Well, that's exactly the other point I was going to make is that they have made that shop so visually appealing.
Absolutely.
As people walk along,
Right.
they can't help but see it.
Right.
And with everything around the front, and it draws people inside.
It certainly does, and I think they also are very active. Another group that's very active, as I should go back to the bread shop, very active in utilizing the Albion Cultural Exchange, doing a bread making for the bread shop. But Beth and Liz have done activities there, and have they have a lot of people come there, whether it's making flower arrangements or what have you, and then going to the shop and really
Yeah.
helping the town out,
Right.
but really realizing that that's helping them as well.
Right.
And in fact, when Beth came back, she called me because I remembered her shop from years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and she said, Steve, I really like what the town, the Board of Selectmen is trying to do. We're trying to make a difference. And she says, I'm so happy to be back. I said, we're thrilled to have you back. And I think, if anything, she needs to expand what but that's a good problem to have. But I think and when you have some of the events they have in town, particularly the holiday stroll, you cannot get into that location.
Oh, no.
It's absolutely
Well,
packed.
it's tough before holidays, too.
Anyway,
Yeah.
But what a great addition. And I also like the way that Beth and Liz are working with other businesses in the downtown and saying, let's do something on a Sunday.
Right.
Let's have and let's do it. Let's both blast to our followers on our websites and what have you, and our Facebook pages. We're both going to be open. Let's try to get some buzz, and I hope it's working for them, that they're coming to. So really a great addition. Can't say enough about them.
And, you mentioned ACE, the
Right.
Albion Cultural Exchange, which is the old MGLD building, which is becoming a town gallery. And as the years go on, it's going to be a great resource in town. The next business is also part of what
Absolutely.
hopefully will be
Yeah, kind of an
the
arts district.
Arts District,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
that's Marie Gallagher and Create down on Albion Street. This is her studio, her workshop, her classroom, because she does a lot of classes there from little kids right up to the elderly. And also she has a shop and gallery on the premises to show some of her works and other works that are available.
And again, I think another destination type business where people are going to come for her product, for the uniqueness of her product and the high quality of her product. And I know that my son, who is in the Coast Guard and has been stationed, in Texas and in Louisiana on the Gulf Coast, and before then he was on a cutter going around the Caribbean. He has a number of items that we have purchased him over the years that are Wakefield specific, one that talks about all the different places in Wakefield, and, the bandstand, Lake Warner, what have you. And he loves having them in his home because it reminds him of home. So some really great memorabilia there too. So another great, again, people coming downtown, they're going to go there, they're going to hopefully go and get something at one of our local leading establishments and just really create that whole buzz together. So thrilling.
Right, and Anne Marie also is very involved in the project to create the Albion Arts
Very
District.
involved, and I know that she's also very involved in pulling the merchants together and trying to work with, with us in maybe can we do something to help out with some of the parking issues, and maybe there's some little tweaks we can do here and there, and those will be coming forward to the board shortly to try to see what we can do. So those things are happening, and we appreciate their input.
Absolutely. Some people will recognize this next one. This is Wakefield Uncommon
Wakefield
Antiques,
Uncommon. Yep.
opposite the Rockery and the hiker statue. Nancy Bertrand, who's known in town for her connection with the Wakefield Historical Society and their museum up in the old Little Red Schoolhouse.
Right.
If you're looking for antiques or collectibles, it's a really interesting place to walk through.
Yeah. And again, I think it's a business that, again, is very well run. Again, is something that you're going to come to. You do need a mix, but you're going to come to this business. And so in my opinion, that's how we keep retail going in Wakefield. I mean, they talk about how retail is dying. Well, it's dying on a brick and mortar sense. People are behind their computer and they're ordering, and it comes delivered the next day from Amazon. Okay, you don't even have to leave their house. And are we all going to have big thumbs and and just stand like this and buy everything? These are places that you need to go to, you need to look at it, need to feel it. So I think that's great, and that's getting, there's a whole socialization aspect to it too. So it's very thankful of that.
Well, it's a shop you really have to browse.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly. You can't. That's not something you can do online.
No, absolutely not.
The other thing is, it's one of those that if people are walking up through Veterans Memorial Park
Yeah, it's right there.
For the older of us, Upper Common.
The Upper Common.
You know, or have had lunch at Zuzu's
Zuzu's
Cafe,
Yeah.
which is also woman-owned.
Yeah.
You know, it's a place to stop by afterward for a few minutes and just kind of,
Absolutely.
you know, see if there's something.
Yeah.
You don't go in there for something specific. You go
No.
in on the off chance
You might find something that you'd like to see.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This last one, and it's only the last one only because it was the last one made. There are a few more yet to go. This is Marie Esther Fournier, Smith's Drugstore. And this is the last surviving privately owned drugstore in Wakefield.
Yeah.
And when this portrait was made a few days ago, I think between the two of us, we figured out there was somewhere between 8 and 10 privately owned drugstores in Wakefield.
Yeah.
Well, there were 2 in Greenwood.
Yeah.
There was one out at the Four Corners near the Dolbear School.
Is that
It was kitty corner
Okay,
before
all
they
right.
built all
Okay,
those
yeah.
stores. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 5 downtown. Minahan's on North Avenue.
Yeah.
There was
Rexall.
Smith, Rexall, Nagel, and
Yeah.
Cataldo's.
Right. Right.
So, long
Yeah.
time ago.
Very different industry now. But I think that, Smith's Drugs has tried to, capture that old, a lot of people still want to go there.
Yep.
And there's also some other items in there that will catch your eye that you might be able to purchase as well. But it's, it's a tough business with, a lot of the healthcare requiring you to go to a certain place for your prescriptions.
Mm-hmm.
So there are, that's kind of I think the government and the big companies have kind of stacked the deck against these independent.
Well, that's just it. The Walgreens and the
right.
CVSs have so captured the market
Right.
that they've forced a lot of these places out
Right.
of business. The fact that this one has lasted for 100 years, number one.
Right.
And the other amazing thing in talking with Marie Esther, she's only the fourth owner
Oh, really? Wow.
in over 100 years.
Wow. So they're averaging 25, 30 years an owner. That's
Well,
great.
she's 25 years this year
Great.
since she took it over.
Yeah.
So, and hopefully it's a resource we won't lose anytime soon.
Yeah. I think that's just absolutely. You picked. What did we do? 6. Talked about 6 of them so
We
far.
talked about 6.
6 fabulous.
There are 2 more on the schedule. They're being photographed in the next few days. Kid Casso,
Yes.
which is
okay.
a great place for kids to learn art,
Yeah.
down at the other end of Albion Street.
And again, an owner that has given and continues to give back to the community, runs the could we call it haunted happenings? Did we have to change that? Runs the Halloween program.
Yeah.
Anyway, we had to do something.
Better to be safe.
I have a feeling that the city of Salem got a little upset by what we called it, but that's too bad. Again, someone that is really so passionate about the arts corridor and moving the downtown forward and working with the other businesses. So again, there's this whole synergy coming
Right.
about, and that's another part of it. So great program.
We're going to continue the project through March 5th.
Great.
So I'll continue to shoot as I hear from businesses who have said, we'd like to do it. So we'll do it through March 5th. Some of the other businesses in town, Fringe on Main in Greenwood, another great gift shop, Greenwood Wine and Spirits.
Yes, and again, both Cindy at Greenwood Wine and Spirits and Sandy at Fringe, again, active, giving their time back to the town, working on issues, whether it's blossoms or whether it's the wayfinding and branding committee that Sandy's on, really trying to give back and help, and really, fabulous owners.
Right. 2 dance studios, Dance Track Studio, and of course Dance Studio of Wakefield, which has been around for
Forever, yeah.
nearly 40 years. It just a phenomenal. Both of my daughters went to Dance Studio of Wakefield. Rada Boutique and Upscale Consignment. I'll be shooting actually almost as soon as we get done with this show. There's a unique salon and spa down on Albion Street. Used to be Tanya's. It's now under new management.
Yeah. I think Colleen McGrath purchased it.
And
Tanya's still in business at Tanya 2.
Right.
Yeah.
But Colleen and Caitlin McGrath took it over and are now doing a bang-up job down there. Laurie's 909 Catering.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, fantastic catering.
Absolutely great.
You know, Laurie Rizzo, she does a lot of events around here. She's done events for WCAT.
I do miss the restaurant, though. I got to say.
But Maia's there.
Yeah, Maia's there. I know. I missed
Maia's
the Raw
there.
Bar, and I missed.
J'adore downtown.
J'adore, yeah.
Interesting shop. Here's an old one, Florence's Fashions. It was downtown, and now it's
on Albion
Street. Flips for Kids Gymnastics, Sweet Balance Yoga, so there's some fitness in there. And then one that I just heard about the other day, Center Wellness in Greenwood.
Oh, okay.
So
well, I think it is overall so wonderful and inspiring that we have so many. I think you've probably just scratched the surface. I think there's a lot more that we.
I'm sure there are some that I haven't heard of.
Haven't heard
Center
of.
Wellness came to me yesterday, actually. As far as the fact
I hope they
that
all
were
get a
there.
little spread in the item. I'm sure it will help.
We'll see how many we get between now and next Monday, but prints of the photographs will be on display next Tuesday outside the Savings Bank Theater, where the Wakefield Human Rights Commission is doing their program.
Great.
And I know it'll be old news a week from now when this show is repeated, but the panelists for this year's International Women's Day program, which is Tuesday, March 6th from 7 to 8:15, Marion Ryan, Middlesex County District Attorney. Bobby Gibb, first woman to run the Boston Marathon, 1966. Mimi LeMay, transgender rights advocate and author of a forthcoming memoir. Karen Burke, Wakefield Veteran Services Officer. She's a Lieutenant Colonel, U.S. Air Force, retired.
Yeah.
Lauren Donati from the Bread Shop.
Yeah.
So you get to hear all about the bread.
Yeah.
And Dr. Astrid Cruz from the VCA Wakefield Animal Hospital. So it's going to be
I got to say that
interesting.
what a great panel. Last year I attended it. It was a fabulous evening, really inspiring. Was really wonderful to see a lot of parents in the crowd, men and women bringing their young daughters, and I thought that was just and the stories that a lot of these very successful women had to overcome,
Yes.
in their lives to
Yes.
move forward and the obstacles, and hopefully we're removing some of them as we go forward. But
I
but
think we're
really,
definitely seeing that.
We're making some progress anyway.
But let's, for March, let's celebrate International Women's Month.
Absolutely.
And International Women's Day on March 8th, and the Human Rights Commission panel on March 6th.
Perfect.
And with that, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.